Hello, it's Danielle with Vantage, and I want to talk to you about a new feature called Dynamic Cost Allocation. With this feature, you can help your organization to achieve a better culture of chargeback, ensuring that teams or business units are allocated the costs they're truly responsible for. So what exactly is Dynamic Cost Allocation? Well, it's a feature that lets you proportionally distribute one set of costs based on another set of existing costs or business metrics. So for example, let's say you have a top-level bucket of input costs like all EC2 costs or all RDS costs, or just say all AWS costs. If you already use cost allocation tags in AWS, you can allocate these costs by a tag identifier like team. So if your infrastructure team is responsible for 50% of the AWS costs and the mobile team for 20% and the data team for 30%, you can mimic this allocation across another static cost or your output cost. For example, let's say you have a static AWS support fee as the output cost. You want to ensure that your teams pay the same percentage of the support fee that they are responsible for with your AWS costs. And since the infrastructure team is responsible for 50% of all AWS costs, then they should also be allocated 50% of the support fee. So let's hop over into the Vantage console and see how this is done. Dynamic cost allocation is on the virtual tag screen. At the top, click Settings and select Virtual Tags. I'm going to open up this Teams cost-based tag here that I already created, and it also mirrors our support fee example. You can read the virtual tagging Vantage docs for more information on these fields at the top, but I'm essentially saying that this tag will backfill my July costs and won't override any existing tags with the same filters. For values, I've selected the cost-based option. But note that this can also be done with something like a business metric, and you can check out our docs for examples on that. Now, my input filter is all AWS costs. And note that these filters function just like other Vantage filters, such as the ones you see in cost reports. For step 2, I'm selecting the team tag that I mentioned earlier, so this is a cost allocation tag that I already have in AWS for Teams. And finally, for step 3, I'm selecting that output filter we talked about. So I want my support costs allocated the same way the input or all AWS costs are allocated. So I selected this support category here for AWS support for business. And after you save this, it's going to take some time to process in Vantage, but since I've already processed and created this tag, we can head on over to a cost report to see what this looks like. I've created a new cost report, and here I've grouped the report by the team's cost-based dynamic allocation tag. And here you can see that each of the teams are allocated a certain percentage of the AWS support fee based on the filter criteria I set up. So I know exactly which portion they are responsible for. The cost has been dynamically allocated. And that's dynamic cost allocation in Vantage. If you're looking to build a better culture of chargeback and ensure that you're accurately allocating costs across teams, then dynamic cost allocation can help you to achieve those goals. Check out our documentation on docs.vantage.sh for more examples, such as how to use this feature with business metrics.